Hello, welcome to my Agile coding channel. Today we're going to talk about how a software challenges the ChatGPT build an AI website, which we're going to do from scratch to build a server like this, a website like this, chat container. It has an input box and has a button sending. If the user type whatever movie's name in this input text field and press send button, the OpenAI backend will give us the emoji corresponding to that movie. So it's looks like simple, but it has a lot of stuff in under hood. Let's talk about overview about this project. I created a blogger called Software Pair with ChatGPT build AI website. In this blog, I described each step in detail about how I made this work from A to Z, including which tools I used, and I used React nodes and JSX Webpack, including some two other dependents, including Promptable library and OpenAI library. So the first step we need to actually is to do installation for the environment. After that, you have to install Node.js in your PC. No matter it's Windows or Linux, you have to install Node.js as a foundation. I can say framework under hood. Then we're gonna create a project. It's based on a JavaScript or Typescript project. But before that, for sure, the installation of this OpenAI and the prompt is necessary. Then when everything preparation is done, we just need to create a task. It's create a project using npm create next app at latest. It will create a project based on JavaScript or TypeScript, and then it generate a project folder including some source code already there, and we just need to modify or change some of them. Here I will focus on the three blocks, including front end, a view, and in the middle it has a hook block, and under hood it's low level, it has an API. And API will be an endpoint to reach OpenAI and Promptable library to fetch data. And the hook is a bridge to connect this fetched data to make it can be passed to the higher level view, like a chat container component to show or take input from user, sending to the lower level API. So let's start. You can see from screen now I created the new project. When you type npx create a React project, it will ask some choices. You can just select which you like. I prefer JavaScript, so I pick up JavaScript and I let every source code in src folder. After that command run, you're gonna see this data structure or folder layout has been generated. It has pages, has some JavaScripts, including some config JSON file, and also you will see a package JSON which will record whatever necessary installed package for this project. After this, you just need to run npm run dev, and this will start the web server and in dev mode, which it will give us we can see a web page. A web page in browser, you open that localhost and 3000 port, you will see the front end. In this case, looks like npm run dev. We try another time. Yeah, you see the server started, and it tell you which port it's using. It's using 3001 because 3000 is occupied. It's selected another one, and you click the link. You open that web page in the browser. That's exactly the default next project look like. It has already a default page you can play with, but in my case I will try to comment the code to hide these things, make it a blank page. Then I will start build my chat container over that blank page. Now let's go to the coding part, and we're gonna see how do I build my part one front end, which is a chat container GUI. And the front end actually is including an input box and a button. And in the blog, I describe what's the function it is. And basically, the take user input as a message. We'll try to send that message to hook side, and hook will pass to low-level endpoint API component. And I will do from top to lower. So top, medium, and lower. So the first part is chat container GUI as a UI. Secondly, I will do use ChatGPT, which is a hook part. Lastly, I will build the third part API. It's called ChatGPT.js file. So basically, I will try to write these three files. Let's start by first one. I will need to create a component folder in SRC folder, then create an empty file called chatcontainer.js and try to add code here. Of course, before that, I did some cleaning in pages.js or index.js in this project already. I removed all those unnecessary links or text or headers. So focus on this component chat container. I need to create some code which is devices. It's called I define an ID called chat container. Then I go to css.global.css. Use that device ID at the last part. That's I added part to define the display, the font, or whatever the size, the layout basically of this chat container. And later on, I will use this chat container holder, this file. I will create input text field and input box. Like you see here is a send button. In order to make it more looks beautiful, more rich, I imported MUI media library to use this enriched text. It's uppercase button and uppercase text field instead of using the default Node.js and React included GUI VJ. So I just need import at the top the multimedia MUI, I think that library, then I can use those things. After this done, if we relaunch npm run, what we can see, we will see, and at the bottom part, you will see that's a debug window actually show all our debug information. And if we open the web page, your browser, you're gonna see the updated chat container looks like this. It has input field and send button. You can input whatever contents, then press send. You're gonna see its debug information has been printed in the text field underneath, which means front end UI part is done. Next, we're gonna move to hook, the middle layer part, to try to pass this message to the API. So next step, we're gonna need to create some, we will need to use some libraries. Chatcontainer.js. In chatcontainer.js, we set message because we need set message, and then we need to call this message like a paragraph. You see that P, the last line, it's a P. We define the paragraph holder, placeholder, then print that message. So the input takes the user information as input, then press send. It will print it in the web page in this paragraph. You see at the underneath of the send button. So it requires some JavaScript and HTML, CSS knowledge, but even me, I'm not very familiar with those language. But that's why, based on the already modularized framework of Node.js, React, create project, and also rely on ChatGPT, I successfully did the work. So next, I need to create a hook folder and a source. That will be our place to hold our use ChatGPT.js, that module. I generated that file, and that's the place where I will create the hook component part. So here is the generated the code for use ChatGPT .js. So basically, I need to implement a function called fetch, and in the fetch data, I will call an API ChatGPT. That's the low end endpoint module to really fetch the data and pass the in the body part. I will pass message and prompt ID. And also in the use effect function handler, I will verify if message is valid. I will fetch the data, call fetch data. So use effect calling the fetch data function, and the fetch data function is calling the API folders ChatGPT, the low end. And based on when I try to add try catch, I got an error. So I start to troubleshoot that issue with ChatGPT. Here is the step. I have error message, and I paste my code to ChatGPT to ask for help. At the beginning, he doesn't understand what I'm looking for. He start to explain what's use effect, all those blah blah, start to teach me all those theory about those functions. But I think he maybe misunderstand me. Then I start to tell him, please tell me how to fix this. I give more specific, more clear instruction. Basically, when I'm doing that, he start to directly correct me my code, and provide me with the correct code. And it's really helpful for those person who are not familiar with the specific language. Like a real paired assistant or paired coworker, as long as you give the right information, you say, if please tell me what the error mean, how to fix it. So I give specific instructions, and he really not give you provide you with the fixed code. Also, the ChatGPT also tell you why it's wrong. So here I just need to copy his suggested code to my VS Code project, and boom, suddenly the problem will be fixed. Of course, if you want to learn the reason, you can still always read and digest what he told you. Now you can see my server started and relaunched and correctly running. I'm gonna see if I can see the hook message which I printed the console log in the code in web browser. At the beginning, I encountered some issue again. Looks like the site doesn't be loaded. I cannot open the page, even the program launched. For the beginner, maybe hard to find what's going on here. So I chat with ChatGPT, also have some background knowledge, or checked my environment. I found there is another thread basically already running that app. So which means the resources is not available. So I have to kill it and relaunch it and make it work. So basically, you still need to know some knowledge. You have some knowledge because you are a developer, right? You already have some networking, multi-threads, all those OS, all those knowledges. Then with this small helper, if you're not just familiar with one of the language, for example, JavaScript, use this, you can very speed up your process. Now looks like still I don't have my hooked console information being printed in the console of browser, but because of the timing issue. So we're gonna talk about how I resolve that issue in next video. Thanks for watching. Please send comments or subscribe. Thank you.